right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Wind chills already below zero tonight, and some of us will see lows the next 2 mornings below zero. The weather impact alert continues through Friday morning due to the frigid forecast.
The dangerous cold impacting those in dire conditions.
It's incredible what people have gone through, out here in the cold.
The group hitting the streets to help those without a warm place to go. A millennium makeover.
This is transformational in every sense of that word.
The new plans for the St. Louis skyline building excitement. The snow has moved out, but dangerously cold temperatures and wind chills are sticking around, keeping the bi-state in a weather impact alert tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. You'll need to keep bundling up over the next couple of days. Weather impact chief meteorologist Scott Connell says temperatures could hover around zero and could feel even colder than that, right, Scott?
Yeah, already wind chills are below zero around the St. Louis area tonight, and that wind is still a bit gusty at times. It's still 9 in St. Charles and Chesterfield, as well as Sullivan. Warrenton 6, so is Rolla, but down at Osage Beach, already down to 1. It's 2 in Columbia. Still double digits, though, from Lambert and then into Illinois for most of our Illinois observation points, but that wind has not stopped. It's out of the northwest, and it continues to pull that cold Arctic dry air in here. Also, little disturbances coming through from time to time. That's brought us a little bit of cloud cover tonight. Right now, it feels like it's between -5 or 5 below zero to 10 below zero. So now through 9 o'clock Friday morning, we're going to run with that weather impact alert because of these bitterly cold temperatures. Tomorrow afternoon, the wind chills will be up above zero, but tomorrow morning, it's 10 to 20 degrees below zero. That's what it will feel like. Then on Friday morning, we don't have the wind, but once again, temperatures are going to be where we can burst those pipes if you've had problems with freezing pipes before. So keep that in mind. Lots of layers the next couple of days. Out the door tomorrow morning. At the bus stop, temperatures feeling like 10 to 20 degrees below zero. Your wind chills by lunchtime are back around zero in St. Louis. Cold weather advisory, it's up for all of the area tonight, now, and through noon tomorrow. There may be an extension into Friday morning, but we know those cold temperatures are definitely going to be with us early on Friday morning due to the fact that pretty deep snow is still on the ground south of St. Louis, 6 to 10, 11 inches farther south of town. We'll see in a few minutes. We'll talk about when that snow is going to melt.
Well, on this bitterly cold night, it's hard to imagine, but many people are living outside in the potentially deadly conditions.
Yeah, they are members of St. Louis's unhoused population. New tonight, Robert Townsend shows us how one outreach team is trying to help them before it's too late.
It's another bone-chilling winter night in St. Louis.
Are you ready for the cold?
Yeah, as good as we can be. Yeah.
And the New Life Evangelistic Center's Reverend Ray Redlick and his outreach partner, Chavez Blanchard, have packed their SUV with plenty of food.
Lunches that are put together.
And have water, We give them sleeping bags and tents. We give them blankets and gloves and skull caps.
5 on your side traveled behind the two men as they rode a few blocks away on what they call a life-saving mission to help unhoused people living in the dangerous freezing temperatures.
They don't know what night that there'll be extra shelters open, how to get there.
This homeless camp has been here at 10th and Cass for the last year and a half. You can see it's just north of downtown, about a mile away from the Arch.
You got the one that's like sleeping bags.
And for many of the people the outreach team fed,
And this is the last of the sleeping bags they have with us now.
Okay, thank you.
and helped, Redlick says they prefer to huddle in tents than to go to warm emergency shelters.
They don't want to part with that. To them, it's home. For many people, it's a matter of wanting to have control over their lives.
It's a big family.
The outreach team's concerns now heightened after a member of the unhoused family died on the cold street Tuesday morning outside City Hall.
Somebody's out there 24/7, and they're trying to sleep out there, and they go to sleep and don't know they're not going to wake up. That's really tragic.
And it's facts. And I don't need no sympathy.
That from a woman who's lived at this camp, in shelters, and on the streets for 10 years.
Instead of buying and buying buildings and turning them into college or Targets or Walmart, how about shelters?
Meanwhile, she's grateful for everything she received today.
And I thank you.
Robert Townsend,
We're doing this unto the Lord.
5 on your side.
Everyone is susceptible to the dangerous cold. Symptoms of frostbite can start with red or pale skin, followed by feeling numb in your extremities. You can experience muscle stiffness and even blistering in severe cases. We spoke to an emergency room doctor who says it doesn't take long to start feeling the impact.
Even short periods of time being out in extreme cold can cause cold-related injuries fairly quickly, especially to the extremities, the ears and the fingers for sure. So being careful to make sure you're wearing gloves and being careful to know just exactly how long you're outside.
Yeah, and if you think you have frostbite, seek medical attention. You should immediately get to a warm area and treat any affected skin with warm, not hot water. Right now, let's get a live look at the roads from our Weather Impact Storm Tracker. We are heading west now on I-44 in South St. Louis. Snow really nowhere to be found on most of the highways, but you can kind of see it along the shoulders. Drivers are still being encouraged to go slowly while on the highway and still watch out for the crews. While snow stopped here in the metro, it just kept falling in our southern counties.
Towns like Noblick and Farmington, Missouri and St. Francis County were hit with more than 10 inches of snow. Other towns like Oates and Patton saw close to a foot. Multiple businesses across the county closed due to the conditions. And back here in the city, the winter weather has kept St. Louis police busy. Over the last 2 days, the department received nearly 600 calls for assistance. More than 60 were for accidents, and they also responded to 24 calls to help drivers. Police remind you to move over and slow down when you see them helping drivers. And remember, your weather impact forecast is always available online. For a link, just text the word weather to 314-425-5355.
After more than a decade of decay, there are signs of new life tonight for the old Millennium Hotel site. The iconic building and the St. Louis skyline could soon be gone.
The Gateway Arch Park Foundation wants to transform the property into a thriving part of our city. 5 on your side's Laura Barcheski has a closer look at the plans from the developers of Ballpark Village. Laura?
Mike and Kelly, Cordish Companies says redevelopment of the Millennium Hotel site comes with a $670 million price tag, but it's one the city deserves, and they hope it will reconnect downtown.
For most of its vibrant life, the Gateway Arch has had a unique neighbor, the Millennium Hotel. The Arch opened to the public in 1967. The stunning round hotel, then called Stouffer's Riverfront Inn, opened just 2 years later.
My dad would take me to the baseball writers' dinner, and you get to meet all the baseball players. It was in that ballroom.
That's Steve O'Laughlin. His dad used to run the Millennium. It's been vacant and decaying since 2014. I talked to him 2 years ago, almost to the day when these pictures of the inside surfaced online. He said this about what he hoped for the future.
I think having a new building, like a multifamily, maybe even some retail, restaurants, and that kind of thing, really piggybacking on some of the success that Ballpark Village has had. It's an amazing location right on the riverfront.
Now, I'm not sure if the masterminds behind Ballpark Village heard Steve or not, but that's exactly what Cordish Companies, in collaboration with the Gateway Arch Park Foundation, plan to do.
The proposal here, the preliminary plan, is a mixed use of residential, office, retail, entertainment, public space, and amphitheater. I mean, this is all really exciting, and these are things that are not occurring on this site today and have not occurred in its history.
The group has asked for a 20-year tax abatement on the 1.3 million square foot project. The St. Louis Development Corporation says they're going to make sure there's both an incentive to get it built and support for the overall tax base.
Day one, this project will have a significant impact on our overall revenue for our taxing districts, ranging from our public schools to our libraries, to public safety, to our streets.
The Gateway to the West will now have a shiny new partner, opening a gateway of its own to the rest of our city.
And it becomes a connector, becomes a gateway to all of these things where pedestrians, guests, residents, visitors to our city can not only be safe and use public transportation and or pedestrian thoroughfare to get through these spaces, but enjoy outdoor spaces, enjoy amenities, enjoy all of these elements that our city is so known for.
The redevelopment plan is scheduled for review next week by the St. Louis City Board that oversees real estate development and requests for tax incentives.
The city of St. Louis is now appealing the price tag of another historic downtown building. The owners of the Railway Exchange building believe the old famous bar store is worth more than $7 million. That's $2 million more than what the city wants to pay. Right now, funding for the purchase is in limbo after the Board of Aldermen put a pause on plans to spend the Rams settlement money.
Tonight, officials with Annie Malone say there's still a chance to save this year's May Day parade. Just yesterday, organizers announced the postponement of the historic parade. Annie Malone's CEO blamed an increasing need for community services and the high cost to renovate its headquarters. Now officials are calling on community sponsors and donations to help put on the century-old tradition.
If we get a sponsor that comes in and cover all the expenses so that the money that is raised from the parade can go back to the community of helping these families more, I will gladly put on the parade. Gladly. But you got to step up with me.
Mayor Tashara Jones says city leaders are reaching out to Annie Malone leaders about what the city can do to help.
Developing tonight, Walgreens announced it's closing another location in North St. Louis. The store at the corner of North Kings Highway and Natural Bridge will close at the end of March. The closure comes almost a year after Walgreens closed its store in the Jeff Vanderloo neighborhood. A recorded message says customers' pharmacy records will be transferred to a new location on Lindell.
The Missouri Supreme Court says a controversial proposition can remain on the April ballot in St. Louis County. Proposition B asks voters to give the county council the power to remove department heads. A circuit court judge sided with County Executive Sam Page, who sued to remove the question from the ballot, calling the language misleading. Today, the state's high court upheld an appeals court decision to reinstate it. Calls for help answered by AI.
Welcome to the St. Louis County Police.
The artificial assistant helping to respond to people in crisis.
The more time we can spend on helping people in their dire need of help, the better.
36 hours. After that, we begin a warming trend into early next week. How long it will take for the snow to melt? We'll see you in 7 minutes.
Staffing shortages are putting police departments under intense pressure nationwide, with emergency calls surging.
And some callers are waiting dangerously long for help. New tonight, the I-Team's Paula Vassan shows us how one department is turning to artificial intelligence to aid in its response time.
911, St. Louis County.
Louis Porzelt has been helping people in crisis for nearly 30 years, first as a police officer, now as a 911 dispatcher.
What is the location of your emergency?
He's witnessed the growing strain on St. Louis County's dispatch center firsthand, where staffing shortages once left dozens of positions vacant, delaying critical responses.
The more time we can spend on helping people in their dire need of help, the better off we are.
In early 2023, the county rolled out an AI assistant.
Welcome to the St. Louis County Police.
Not for emergencies, but for non-emergency calls like jail information, probation inquiries, and police reports. The goal? To free up human operators for life or death situations.
It's cut down our volumes of calls coming in because you get a combination of 911 calls and non-emergencies rather than take time away from the 911 calls. The routing system for AI helps people in their non-emergency needs to get them the resources that they need throughout the county.
Here's how it works.
Please state the nature of your call.
The AI system analyzes what the caller needs and assigns a confidence score. If it's certain, it routes the call directly to the right department.
Connect me to the Justice Center.
If not, it connects the caller to a live operator to avoid delays or confusion.
The world we live in is advancing, and we have to be able to adapt to that.
Supervisor Brian Battle says the results are hard to ignore. Since its launch, the AI assistant has reduced non-emergency workload by about 17%, handling up to 20,000 calls a year.
911, St. Louis County.
That gives live dispatchers
What is the address of your emergency?
more time to respond to the most critical emergencies.
I know there's a lot of concern around AI replacing, the human capital in the workplace. That's not the route we're going. It's just meant to be an assist to help reduce the workload.
The workload in the St. Louis County's dispatch center mirrors what's happening nationwide. For years, we've reported about how some callers in our area have been left waiting minutes when seconds matter most. And while AI is a promising solution, it raises critical questions. A new report from the National Conference of State Legislatures highlights the increasing use of AI in law enforcement while acknowledging the potential risks of misuse, bias, and inaccuracies. For Porzelt, there is no question it's helped him focus on what he loves doing most.
I can still sit here and help people out when they need it and wherever they need it. I can direct the resources to them.
St. Louis County Police say their automated non-emergency system has not caused staff reductions or job replacements. Right now, they're short by 12 dispatchers. Meanwhile, the city is short by 7 dispatchers. They currently do not use AI. Want to know how other departments are adopting new technology? Visit the As Seen on TV section at KSDK.com. Paula Vasan, 5 on your side.
A dangerous cold is setting in across the St. Louis area right now. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell has been tracking these temperatures that are putting us in a weather impact alert.
You know, we have this weather impact alert running through tomorrow into tomorrow night and early on Friday because, again, Friday morning, we're in the single digits, close to zero, and some spots probably will be below zero because there is snow on the ground. We still have some clouds around St. Louis now. North and west, they've cleared out, and you see what the temperatures have done up in Kirksville now. It's down to 1. Go out to Columbia, it's 2. Clouds still holding some of us in the metro area around 10, 11 degrees. 11 right now in Cahokia Heights as well as Berkeley. Wildwood is 9. It's 10 in Arnold, Edwardsville, Alton, 8 in O'Fallon in Lake St. Louis. All of us are looking at wind chills right now that are below zero. And by tomorrow morning, 10 to maybe 20 degree below zero wind chills are certainly possible. While the winds settle down early Friday morning, those single digit lows will continue. That's bitterly cold weather that we're dealing with. You need to prepare those pipes, especially if you've had problems with them freezing before, for these temperatures around zero. Early tomorrow morning out the door, again, around 12 to 15 below zero in the immediate metro area, a little colder, some of the outlying areas. By lunchtime, we are back around zero on the wind chills. But still, one of those days where you need extra layers and try to spend as little time as you can outside. Cold weather advisory through noon tomorrow. We'll see if it gets extended. Your early morning tomorrow in St. Louis, 3 degrees at 6, 3 degrees at 7, 8 o'clock you're up to 5. But wind chills still in the double digits below zero. Good news we have is the road crews were able to do a lot of work today with this dry snow, and that's a lot different looking 141 and 55 than when we saw you last night 24 hours ago. Little disturbance still moving through, and so we still have a few clouds. They should break later tonight, and tomorrow looks like a brighter day. Still cold, only in the mid to upper teens tomorrow afternoon, but wind chills do go above zero. Problem is, early morning on Friday, some of us, especially to the west and southwest of St. Louis and those normally colder spots, will drop to or just below zero. Again, the rest of us right around the single digits. We're looking at impacts here as we go through the next few days. They're high tomorrow and Friday morning because of the cold. We get into the weekend and the impacts look to be minimal weather-wise. We'll be melting some snow. About 2 to 3 inches across most of the metro area from this deal that came through. But farther to our south, you had 11 inches in Oates, 10.5 Ironton, Pilot Knob. Those are where the totals were really high. Now, looking at the temperatures, how much of this snow are we going to get rid of and how fast? Well, by Sunday, we're at 49, 59 on Monday. The big difference with this snow versus what we had early in January, this came to us with maybe 2/10 to 3/10 of an inch of liquid, maybe 4/10. The one we had in January was fully 2 inches of liquid. So when you rock solid it, that's a lot to melt. 11 degrees, that's where we are right now. Wind chill is 4 below zero tonight, right around zero across the metro area, just below zero in those colder spots to the west of town. The weather impact alert again tomorrow into Friday morning because of those cold temperatures. As we head into the weekend, we will warm things a little bit quicker Sunday and Monday, and I think by Monday most of the snow will be gone. And by the end of next week, even the piles at the grocery store, some of them in the parking lot had been there. Yeah, they've been there since the beginning of January. I think we'll make good progress on those too. But this had a lot less water with it, so that's less ice you got to melt.
So a couple more days of cold and then a warm up.
Much better.
All right, Scott, thank you. Sports is next with Frank.
I could tell you about a lot of things we have coming up, but Mizzou basketball is really the only thing that matters tonight. The building was louder than a Led Zeppelin concert. The Tigers were more unselfish than Mother Teresa and more skilled than a heart surgeon. Keep in mind that Alabama went to the Final Four last year and they're 4th in the country this year. Things you don't want to do in life. Answer your front door with the 60 Minutes cameras rolling and play Mizzou in Columbia. Mizzou led 12-0 just 2.5 minutes in. Trent Pierce with the layup, and the place was going berserk. You know it's your night when Mark Mitchell, of all people, is draining threes. Here's the unselfishness. Caleb Grill, Pierce, Tony Perkins, and Tamar Bates will just step up and drill the three. More of this unselfishness. Anthony Robinson, Grill. No, you take it, Anthony, and he knocks it down. Alabama coach Nate Oates just smashes his clipboard and got a technical foul. Second half, Alabama cut it to 6. Mitchell would not be denied. He had 29, and then Grill, who has 25, and Mizzou leads it 99-87.
Taking Flight, Card Spring Training, sponsored by Wood Basement Systems.
So if you are not going to spend money on free agents and you can't make blockbuster trades, the only chance you have for success is for your homegrown players to become stars. Let's put it this way. If Jordan Walker doesn't become one, the Cardinals' chances of winning are dim. Corey Miller has more on Jordan.
While it's freezing back in St. Louis, there was a different freeze warning in Jupiter. A David Freeze warning, that is. Once upon a time, Freeze was a young Cardinal figuring things out. Jordan Walker is a current Cardinal in that situation, and a subpar sophomore season has Walker hungry for 2025.
I think baseball is always, you're going to struggle at some point. I don't think everybody, there's a reason these best guys are hitting, 300? Which in hindsight, you're going to get hit 3 out of 10 times, you know what I'm saying? That's still, if the way you look at another sport, it's still failing, but they're so good at their job. But it is a game of failure, man. So you kind of have to fight through and then, just have all these young guys, find through at the big league level. And I honestly think the way it looks, I think we're going to be pretty good. So, yeah, I'm really just excited to see how it is.
Defensively, Walker has been working with former Cardinal and now current Cardinals coach John Jay to improve his outfield technique. Reporting from spring training, I'm Corey Miller, 5 on Your Side Sports.
So hatred and hostility are not good in a marriage or a workplace, but in sports, it's fun. Take these two, Matthew Tkachuk and Brandon Hagel. Everyone remembers their fight to kick off the Canada-USA game. Hagel chirped at Matthew saying the opening fights were pre-planned via group chat. Matthew zinged back saying Hagel's team must not like each other if they don't have group chats. Can't wait till tomorrow. And the lead up is causing ticket prices to creep into Super Bowl ticket territory. Depending on your resale ticket broker, a single seat will cost you anywhere from $1,000 upward to $10 grand. For all the years that team sports has been figuring out attention-grabbing all-star formats, the NHL may have found it.
It's great to see the sport have 4.4 million viewers on ESPN. I'm sure Canada had 30 million, but it's great because I bet it's going to be at least 6 million. With the start they had this Saturday night, everyone can't wait for puck drop.
Just exposure to the game, people talking about it, people becoming fans of it, and like I said, Canada-US, that's kind of, I'm sure what everyone kind of wanted there for the final match, and it's going to be a good one on Thursday night.
I don't think we are going to see 3 fights in 9 seconds. But in terms of an international event and collisions and full impact smashing into each other, it's going to be unbelievable.
So just so everybody understands, there used to be an NHL All-Star game. Does that not exist anymore?
Well, it may next year, but nobody cares. This is why we have this thing, because nobody cares about the All-Star game. It's like the baseball All-Star game is good because there's fear. There's a guy throwing a ball 95 miles an hour. But the football game became a joke. The NBA All-Star game's a joke. This is a great idea by hockey.
And they don't play the Pro Bowl anymore like they used to.
Canceled due to lack of interest.
Yeah, all right. Thanks, Frank. Well, a live look now over St. Louis, where temperatures just keep dropping. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell will have one final look at our frigid forecast when we come back.
And tomorrow night, we hope you'll join us to celebrate St. Louis Black History at the Missouri History Museum. Happy hours at 5. The program starts at 6:30. Brent Solomon and I will be there to moderate, and it's a free event. If you can't make it because of the cold, we will stream it live on the 5+ app. It's free to download on your Roku, Fire, or Apple TV device.
And Scott has one final check of our weather impact forecast.
Tomorrow morning, heading out the door, that's when the wind chills will be the most brutal across our area, probably for this winter. 10 to 20 degrees below zero is what it will feel like getting out the door tomorrow morning. So lots of layers heading out. Tomorrow, temperatures are around zero early in the morning, single digits either side, and teens tomorrow afternoon, single digits again Friday morning, but without the wind. And then a warm up over the weekend. Back near 50 Sunday, near 60 Monday and Tuesday.
So as we look at that, Scott, 59, 60, and 57 on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, does that continue for the rest of that week?
It's all above average for pretty much all of next week.
No single digits.
No, and then we go into March.
All right. Well, you can always follow our weather impact coverage on the 5+ streaming app. You can download and watch for free by searching KSDK on your Roku, Apple, or Fire TV.
And there you have it, 5 on your side at 10.
And the Today in St. Louis team will continue tracking those frigid temps starting at 4 a.m. Be safe and have a great tomorrow.